Just give a quick PSA to any nigga who rolls around with this nigga right here. Do not, if y'all him going to the club, y'all him going to the bowling alley, ride in separate cars, please.
A man is lying in a hospital bed right now, hit multiple times in the torso, fighting to stay alive, machines around him constantly beeping. And the person who allegedly put him there? Sitting relaxed in a Detroit jewelry store, posting flashy photos with a caption so cold, so reckless, that DJ Akademiks had to stop everything and put it on blast for the whole internet. You need to hear this, because this isn't your usual rap drama that got out of hand. This involves the Detroit rapper Allstar JR, a name most people weren't even checking for days ago, who allegedly walked into a Houston restaurant and got rushed by a group trying to snatch his chains. In the middle of that chaos, while being overwhelmed on the floor, things escalated fast. Reports say he reacted in the moment, and suddenly multiple people ended up seriously injured, with 2 rushed to the hospital in critical condition. One of them? Reportedly closely tied to NBA youngboy known as NBA Ben 10. And it gets even crazier. After all that, he allegedly flew straight back to Detroit. Walked into a jewelry store like nothing happened, snapped a full set of Instagram pics, and dropped a caption that now has authorities paying very close attention. No exaggeration, this is real. And it didn't stop there. He followed it up with another post right after. We're breaking this whole situation down piece by piece, what went down that night at Confessions, the alleged chain snatch attempt, the chaos that followed, the silence from Youngboy, the appearance of J. Prince Jr., and most importantly, that post, that caption. Every word, every hashtag, every slide. Because right now, it's looking like someone may have told on themselves online and then came back just to double down. Let's get into it. Before we even touch what happened on Wednesday night, April 8th, 2026, in Houston, Texas, we've got to set the stage. A lot of people are asking, who is Allstar JR? And honestly, fair question. He's not a mainstream name. Not topping charts, not flexing platinum plaques. But in Detroit? That's a completely different story. In the streets and the local rap scene, his name definitely rings bells. Allstar JR, real name Jeremy Ford, was born February 6, 1994 in Detroit, Michigan. He grew up on the west side, Joy Road specifically, before later moving to the east side. And if you know anything about that area, you already know it's not easy coming up there. That kind of environment either builds toughness or pulls you into a rough path quick. He came up as part of a rap group called All Stars Ball Hard, a Detroit crew people might recognize, especially because of one key name tied to it, T Grizzly. Yeah, JR was moving in those same circles early on. That alone tells you the type of energy and reputation around his name. He was also connected with All-Star Lee and All-Star Tone, all part of that same circle. These aren't polished industry artists. These are street-rooted rappers with real backgrounds, and that shows in their music. JR dropped mixtapes like Get a Bag or Go Home, blowing the extras and Cases Pending. These didn't dominate the mainstream, but they definitely had motion in local scenes. And if you go back and watch his interviews now, knowing everything that's happened, it hits completely different. Because this was never someone chasing fame or playing celebrity. He's a Detroit street rapper who happens to make music, and that detail matters. Because what went down in Houston on April 8th, and how JR allegedly reacted in that moment, doesn't feel like industry behavior at all. That feels like raw Detroit energy. And that post he made afterward? That didn't look like someone worried about consequences. That looked like someone completely unbothered. Now let's talk about NBA Ben 10. His real name is Ben Anthony Fields, 26 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's a close affiliate and reportedly a cousin of NBA Youngboy and a member of the Never Broke Again collective. With over 1 million followers on Instagram, he's known in rap circles for tracks like Play With Me. And he's not just some random name tied to Youngboy, he's been in music videos, tour content, and has real connections that go beyond music. This isn't networking, this is family-level ties. Reports even say that in 2025, Youngboy gifted him $250,000. So no, Ben 10 isn't struggling. He's well-connected, well-supported, and backed by one of the most loyal fan bases in rap. You could already tell, this situation wasn't going to end clean. Let me paint the picture. It's late Wednesday night, pushing midnight in Houston, Texas. The location? Confessions nightclub right on the 3200 block of Kirby Drive in the Upper Kirby area. This isn't some low-key spot. This is a known venue, people stepping out dressed sharp, jewelry shining, bottles popping, everybody trying to be seen. And that's where things get tricky. Because when you step into a packed club like that, wearing heavy chains, lights hitting your neck from every angle in a city that's not even yours, you're putting a target on yourself. And in those environments, there are always eyes watching, calculating, noticing who's wearing what. Now, hours before anything went left, NBA Ben 10 was active on Instagram. He posted that he was in Houston, standing next to OG 33, another close associate of Youngboy, someone he considers family. The caption read, 1000 FA loose double cup, tagging his people. Everything looked normal. Energy high, no warning signs. But just hours later, everything flipped. Ben 10 ended up in the hospital critical condition, and the whole situation turned serious fast. Here's what reportedly happened inside confessions. Allstar JR was there that night too, wearing noticeable jewelry. Heavy chains, the kind that instantly stand out under club lights. The kind that grabs attention in a room where some people are always watching. According to Houston Police Department Lieutenant R. Wilkins, a group of men approached JR and started trying to pull those chains right off his neck. This wasn't subtle. This turned into an active robbery attempt right there in the club. And it didn't happen in a split second either. Picture this clearly, 30 seconds to a full minute. That might not sound long, but in real time, that's intense. A full minute of being grabbed, chains being yanked, forced to the floor in a loud, packed club, surrounded by multiple people. That feels like forever. Wilkins explained that the first two individuals were already struggling with JR. They got him down, pulling at his chains, and then more people jumped in. Others from the same group got involved, and suddenly it turned into multiple attackers at once. At that point, it wasn't just an altercation anymore. It was a full ambush, and then everything shifted. Allstar JR, still on the ground, still being overwhelmed, chains reportedly already taken, suddenly pulled out a firearm. And from there, it spiraled. Reports say he started firing chaotic, not controlled, just reacting in the moment. It's still unclear where the weapon came from, but suddenly it was in his hand. No clear aim, no direction, just a reaction in complete chaos while people were still on top of him. Everything happened fast. Two individuals were seriously injured. The first, believed to be NBA Ben 10, was hit multiple times in the torso and chest. That's extremely serious. Those are life-threatening injuries that require immediate care. This isn't something you just shake off. The second individual was also badly hurt, injuries to the lower body and both arms also critical. Both were rushed to nearby hospitals as emergency crews responded. And inside the venue, total panic. People diving for cover, running to exits, screaming, confusion everywhere. Videos from the aftermath spread quickly, showing people hiding under tables, the whole club shaken. One moment it was a regular night out. The next, complete chaos. And while all this was happening, Allstar JR was not among those taken to the hospital. Reports say he left the scene shortly after. Within hours, social media exploded. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, clips, reactions, theories. The biggest rumor spreading fast. That NBA Ben 10 didn't make it. That only made things worse. People started posting RIP messages, building threads, even tributes like it was already confirmed. Youngboy fans flooded comments, emotions running high. Information was slow. The situation looked serious, so people jumped to conclusions. Then OG Monique, the mother of OG 33, stepped in. She posted a short message on Instagram. 10 is alert. Stop the made-up stories. Just like that, everything shifted. 10 is alert. That means conscious, responsive, still here. But let's be clear, she didn't say he was okay. She didn't say he was recovering. There's a big difference between being alive and being out of danger. He was still critical, still in the hospital, still fighting. But at least now we knew he was holding on. And this is where everything started connecting. Once Ben 10's identity was confirmed, the story shifted. What first sounded random started looking targeted. Then footage started circulating. And not just anybody showed up in those clips. J. Prince Jr. was allegedly spotted at the scene. Yeah, that J. Prince Jr. platforms like Daily Loud even posted about it, pointing out that footage appeared to show him at the same location where everything went down. Now think about that. J. Prince Jr. allegedly present at a situation where a group reportedly tried to take a chain from Allstar JR. This is no longer just a club incident. This just got deeper. Now people are connecting this to bigger ties, the circle linked to J. Prince's influence in Houston. That means this situation could involve major figures, established networks, all tied into a moment that escalated fast. And that detail? It becomes very important when you look at what Allstar JR posted afterward. Because by this point the streets were already talking heavy. And the internet? Full investigation mode. People were dissecting clips like detectives, slowing them down, checking timestamps, zooming into faces, trying to connect every piece step by step. Meanwhile, the Houston police still hadn't officially named a suspect. They had footage, they had witnesses, and they had 2 people in critical condition, but no public confirmation on who was responsible just yet. And then Allstar JR decided to speak. But this wasn't a quiet statement or some low-key response. He went straight to Instagram, and what he posted instantly had people stunned. The tone, the timing, the message, everything about it grabbed attention immediately. He dropped a full carousel of photos. Now picture this clearly. This isn't someone laying low or moving in silence. He's not on calls behind the scenes, not out of sight. Instead, he's standing inside a Detroit jewelry store, his city, taking multiple photos like it's a full-blown photo shoot. Display cases behind him, diamonds shining everywhere, counters stacked with jewelry. It looks like he's picking out new chains, replacing the ones that were reportedly taken earlier. The whole vibe? Bold. Almost like nothing even happened. But the real moment comes from the caption. And this is where things take a serious turn. Here's what he wrote, word for word. Had to shoot to the D and get new ice cause my man's Ben 10 took some stuff with him to the hospital. JR closed. The elevator on Ron. OG3 left. M Nads. All that planned. Now let's break that down because every part of that caption stands out. When he says shoot to the D, that's Detroit slang for getting back to the city fast flying or driving quickly. He's basically making it clear he left Houston right after everything went down. From one angle, it sounds simple like he just went home. From another, people are reading it as him describing leaving right after a serious situation unfolded. Then he mentions getting new ice, which lines up with reports that his jewelry was taken during the incident. But the line about Ben 10 taking some of my stuff to the hospital with him, that's what really set people off, because it comes across direct and very controversial. And it didn't stop there. Not long after the carousel dropped, he followed it up with another message on his story, even more bold, even more direct. At that point, people weren't just watching, they were analyzing everything. Screenshots started flying across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Every word, every emoji, every detail was being picked apart like evidence in real time. The internet wasn't treating this like entertainment anymore. This felt serious. What really stood out? The timing. You've got an active investigation, people still in the hospital, families waiting for updates, and in the middle of all that, posts like this are going up publicly. That contrast alone had people reacting heavy. Some said it looked like someone completely unbothered, moving freely without concern. Others warned that posting like this during an open investigation could bring serious consequences. Because once it's online, it doesn't go away, especially when millions are watching. Meanwhile, law enforcement stayed quiet publicly. But behind the scenes, you already know they're watching everything. Social media turns into evidence real quick. And situations like this only increase the pressure. And while all this is happening, one major voice still hasn't said a word. NBA YoungBoy. No post, no statement, nothing. And that silence? It's making people even more curious about what comes next. Back to JR. He's in a jewelry store, replacing chains, the same ones reportedly taken, restocking like nothing slowed him down. And this is happening right after 2 people ended up in the hospital. That's why many saw this as a statement move. The message people picked up? You took something from me, I bounced right back. That's how a lot of viewers interpreted it, and it got people talking instantly. Then comes that line again. My man's Ben 10 took some of my stuff to the hospital with him. This is what really lit the internet up. Because the way it sounds, he's suggesting Ben 10 still had those chains on him when he got taken to the hospital. And when he says my man's, people didn't take that as friendly at all. It came off sarcastic, almost mocking, like calling someone my guy with zero respect behind it. That tone made the post feel even more intense. Because instead of staying quiet, it looked like he was leaning into the situation publicly, knowing people were watching. Then if you swipe through the carousel, there's another line that raised eyebrows. Thought he was mob ties till I shot us a few times. That line right there, that's what really grabbed attention. Because now he's directly referencing mob ties, something many people connect to J. Prince Jr. and his Houston circle. The message people took? That affiliation didn't matter. The name didn't protect anyone. All that mob ties talk? According to how this is being interpreted, it didn't hold weight in that moment. And then comes the most serious part. Till I shot his a few times? That line has people reacting heavy. Because it doesn't sound vague. It's not coded. It reads very direct. And that's exactly why alarms went off online. This is the kind of post that grabs attention from everyone, fans, media, and especially authorities. Because when something like that is written out and shared publicly, it can quickly become part of something much bigger. These are the kinds of statements people screenshot, repost, and analyze from every angle. And just when it felt like it couldn't get any more intense, there's still more. Let's talk about those hashtags, because they carry just as much weight as the caption. First one, JR closed the elevator on Ron. That phrase had people talking instantly. Close the elevator is slang for leaving someone behind, cutting them off, not waiting. So when he says that, it sounds like he's describing a moment where someone named Ron got left in the situation. Whether it's a real person or symbolic, the message people took was clear. Someone didn't make it out the same way. Then there's OG3 left him, and this is where things got even deeper. People started connecting it to OG33, the same person reportedly with NBA Ben 10 earlier that night. The same OG33 whose mother later confirmed Ben 10 was still alive. So now, based on how JR's post is being interpreted, he's suggesting that when things got serious, OG3 didn't stay, that he stepped away and left others behind. That's a heavy claim. To be clear, it's unconfirmed. But online, people ran with it instantly. Because in street culture, accusations like that carry real weight. Saying someone didn't stand solid in a critical moment, that sticks. Then comes the final hashtag. All that playing. That one hit just as hard. In street terms, it's calling out all the talk, all the hype, all the energy people bring, but when it's time to act, it doesn't match. The message people pulled, all that confidence, all that presence, all that build-up, didn't mean anything in the end. That's how many interpreted it, and it only added more intensity. And just when things couldn't get louder, he doubled down with a story post, making it clear this wasn't an accident. The tone felt deliberate, calculated, very public. Not someone trying to stay low. The exact opposite. And all of this happened while the investigation was still open before any official suspect had even been named. Knowing cameras were everywhere, real life and online, and still choosing to post like that decision alone is what has people talking the most. Right now, people are split. Some are calling it bold beyond belief. Others are calling it reckless. Honestly, it might be both. But now we've got to talk about the fallout, because this goes way beyond just two individuals. NBA YoungBoy, one of the biggest names in rap, still hasn't said a word. No post, no tweet, no story, just silence. And to some, that might seem surprising. But if you understand how situations like this move, that silence can be very intentional. Someone close to him, real family, is in the hospital in critical condition. And there's an active investigation. Anything said right now could complicate things. So staying quiet, that can be a calculated move. But let's be real. This is YoungBoy we're talking about. His fan base is locked in, loyal, alert, watching everything. They don't need updates, they're already following every detail. Meanwhile, Confessions Nightclub released a statement saying they're cooperating with the Houston Police Department and reviewing everything that happened. They also mentioned improving safety measures going forward. In simple terms, they're trying to protect their business before this situation causes long-term damage. Because this isn't just any venue. And an incident like this, it hits reputation fast. Houston police have been measured so far. Lieutenant Wilkins confirmed 2 people were in critical condition, described the attempted chain robbery, and said the situation escalated with multiple shots fired. But at that stage, they still hadn't publicly named Allstar JR as a suspect. They made it clear they had strong video footage, multiple witnesses, and were actively working to identify who was responsible. Everything was still developing, but then that Instagram post dropped. And DJ Akademiks pushed it out to a massive audience. And once that happened, everything changed. Because now, if authorities weren't already looking that way, the internet basically brought it straight to them. Major platforms picked it up fast. Hot New Hip Hop covered it. Primetime started talking. College Kid posted updates. World Star had clips circulating. At that point, this wasn't just a local situation anymore. This was everywhere. Within 24 hours, this flipped from a local Houston situation into a nationwide hip-hop headline. And that caption? Every single word is now saved, reposted, and archived everywhere. Screenshots don't vanish. Once it's out there, it's permanent and it spreads fast. Let's be honest for a second. When something that direct gets posted online during an active investigation, people aren't just treating it like entertainment. It starts looking like a serious statement. Now, self-defense can absolutely be a legal argument that's true. But jumping online, speaking openly, using direct wording, naming people, and even sounding like you're brushing it off, that can complicate things quickly. There's a clear difference between what reportedly happened inside that venue, which many are describing as someone reacting during an attempted robbery, and what was posted afterward. Those are 2 completely separate moments. One could be viewed a certain way legally. The other raises real questions because of how it was presented publicly. And here's something not enough people are focusing on: the J. Prince Jr. connection. His father, J. Prince, is a major figure in Houston. Respected, influential. The mob ties name carries serious weight in certain circles. So if J. Prince Jr. was actually present, and if any of the individuals involved had ties to that circle, even loosely, that adds a completely different layer to this situation. This isn't just a random club incident anymore. Now you're talking about names and affiliations that hold real influence. And when Allstar JR referenced that directly in his caption, thought he was mob ties, people took that as him calling it out openly, almost like he knew exactly who was involved and wasn't intimidated. Whether that's confidence, pressure, or just a heat-of-the-moment reaction, that's what people are debating heavy right now. As it stands, opinions on Allstar JR are split. Some are calling him reckless. Others say he pushed it too far. A lot of people are questioning why he would even post like that. But interestingly, almost nobody is calling him weak. That's the part that stands out in how people are reacting. On the other side, OG33's name is getting pulled into this conversation heavily because of those hashtags. Based on how JR's words are being interpreted, there's an accusation floating around that OG33 didn't stay solid in that moment. Now, if there's any truth to that, that's a serious claim. In street culture, being accused of leaving your people behind in a critical situation can stick with your name for a long time. That's not something that just fades away. As of now, OG33 hasn't publicly responded to that specific claim. His mother stepped in to confirm that NBA Ben 10 is alive, but what actually happened in that moment? Still unanswered. And people are definitely watching. Now take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This situation goes deeper than just one night in Houston. It highlights something that's been happening in hip-hop for years. The line between street life and the music industry keeps getting thinner. Allstar JR is an artist. NBA Ben 10 is an artist. But what reportedly happened at Confessions on April 8, 2026, that had nothing to do with music. No diss tracks. No back-and-forth records. This came from real life, an alleged robbery attempt, a chain situation, something that escalated in real time involving people who also happen to be in the rap world. And that's the reality check. For anyone who thinks being in the industry comes with protection, it doesn't. The same chains seen in music videos, the same jewelry flexed online, can instantly turn into attention in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ben 10 reportedly received $250,000 from NBA YoungBoy in 2025. He had over 1 million followers. He was connected to one of the biggest collectives in rap. And none of that changed what can happen in real life. Reports say he was just out in Houston on a regular night and things still escalated fast. That's the part people can't ignore. This isn't about fame or followers. Situations like this don't pause just because someone is known. Real environments come with real risks, and being in the spotlight doesn't cancel that out. Now on the flip side, Allstar JR's response online added a whole new layer. Because from one angle, this could have been seen as someone reacting during a robbery attempt. But once those posts went up, everything shifted. Now there's a digital trail, captions, hashtags, statements all being saved, shared, and examined closely. And in today's world, social media moves fast. What gets posted can reach millions instantly and reshape how a situation is viewed overnight. That kind of attention, not the kind most artists want. This isn't about music success anymore. This is a real situation turning into a viral headline. Information used to move slow. Not anymore. Within hours of what happened at Confessions, before the scene was even fully cleared, social media already had names, backstories, affiliations, and theories flying everywhere. DJ Akademiks picked it up early, hot new hip-hop ran with it, and from there, it spread like wildfire. The way situations like this unfold has completely changed. What used to stay local now goes global in minutes. And here's the key detail. Allstar JR didn't just randomly throw that caption up. This didn't look rushed or accidental. There was no delay. No second guessing. No deleting afterward. It came off like he knew exactly what he was doing. He used Instagram to speak directly in real time, letting everyone know where he stood and how he saw the situation. That kind of move? Some are calling it bold. Others are calling it risky. Either way, it grabbed attention instantly. Now the entire hip-hop community is locked on one big question. What happens next? Does NBA Ben 10 fully recover? How does this situation develop from here? Do authorities take further action based on what's been posted? Does NBA YoungBoy eventually speak or stay silent? And what about the J. Prince Jr. angle? Does that become a bigger part of the story? Then there's OG 33. Does he respond or let it ride? Right now, there are no clear answers. The investigation is still ongoing. Ben 10 remains under medical care. Allstar JR is back in Detroit. And the entire internet? Watching closely for the next move. It's rare to see someone post with this level of intensity while an investigation is still active. The energy behind that caption? Almost unheard of. When you read lines like, "Thought he was mob ties till I shot his a few times," that's not subtle. That's not hidden. That's direct. And with his face right there in the photos, it hits even harder. That's why people are locked in on this right now. Because this situation doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Too many unanswered questions, too many angles, and way too much attention on every move. So now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Did Allstar JR go too far with that post? Do you think this turns into something bigger? And what role do you think others connected to this might play as things unfold? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, because this story is still developing in real time. Stay locked in, because this one, far from over.